Good morning. My name is Drew Virtue. I introduced myself earlier when we had a larger group, but now that it's a smaller group, I just wanted to reintroduce myself again. To give you some room to stand on here of parties and what they're doing. My name is Drew Virtue. I'm the prosecutor, meaning I'm going to be presenting evidence supporting the defendant's guilt. Defense counsel will be representing their client. We'll have the clerk here, whose job it is to create a complete record of this case, both for the recording as well as writing things down when need be. The court officers who are up and about are here to make sure that we're safe, as well as help people kind of figure out where they need to go. The judge's job is to, kind of clunky term from law school, be the master of the law. And that leaves you guys, which equally clunky term for the jury is the master of the facts. It's the idea that it's your job, it's your exclusive job, your special job, to determine the facts at stake that we're talking about, what actually happened. And this is concerning what happened on December 2nd of 2025. Now, you're going to have an opportunity to hear from some witnesses. You're going to have an opportunity to hear from Ms. Mila Adams. She'll tell you about her career as a private chef. She'll tell you how she came to know the defendant, about how she came to be working as a chef for him. She'll tell you about her experience. And then I expect that she'll tell you about what happened. And I remind you, it's your job here today to concerning what happened on December 2nd of 2025. Now, you're going to have an opportunity to hear from some witnesses. You're going to have an opportunity to hear from Ms. Mila Adams. She'll tell you about her career as a private chef. She'll tell you how she came to know the defendant, about how she came to be working as a chef for him. She'll tell you about her experience working for Mr. Diggs. I expect she'll tell you about a disagreement she had with some members of his staff. And then I expect that she'll tell you about what happened on December 2nd. And I remind you, it's your job here today to determine what happened on December 2nd. I expect Ms. Mila Adams, when she takes that stand, she'll tell you how she was texting with the defendant, her boss, Mr. Diggs. That on that text they started arguing, they started name-calling. I expect she'll tell you how she was in her bedroom at his house, how he entered her bedroom, walked up to her, and slapped her. I expect she's going to tell you how he put her in a headlock, the difficulty she had breathing, that he threw her on the bed, and then he left. I expect she's going to tell you then how that affected her, what she did after her, how she continued working for him afterwards, how she had a dispute with him over a payment, how his staff told her that she needed to sign a non-disclosure agreement to get paid. I expect she'll tell you that it wasn't until after this incident in December 2nd that anyone talked to her about a non-disclosure agreement. I expect for her, eventually reported what happened to her with him over a payment. How his staff told her that she needed to sign a non-disclosure agreement to get paid. I expect she'll tell you that it wasn't until after this incident in December 2nd that anyone talked to her about a non-disclosure agreement. I expect for her to tell you how she eventually left that job as a chef, Mr. Diggs, and how she eventually reported what happened to her to the police. You also have an opportunity to hear from an officer from the Dedham Police, one Kenneth Ellis. He'll tell you about his training that he undertook in order to become an officer, and how on December the 16th, Ms. Mila Adams came to the Dedham Police Station to talk to the police. He'll be able to tell you a bit about that encounter, what he saw, a little bit about that conversation, and ultimately how he chose to, how charges were filed against Mr. Diggs. Now, in this case, Mr. Diggs has no obligation to call any witnesses. He may choose not to call any witnesses, and you cannot hold that against him. But in the event that he does call witnesses, I ask, did you give his witnesses the same care, the same attention, and the same scrutiny that you give to the Commonwealth's witnesses? It's part of your job as jurors, as the master of the facts, to listen to every witness, to pay attention and to assess their credibility. In doing so, I ask that you keep two things in mind. One, what the witness had an opportunity to see or not to see. Whether the witness had an actual opportunity to witness the crime or just saw things in and around it. And two, what sort of financial relationship each witness had to Mr. Diggs. I imagine the defense may argue that Ms. Adams' financial dispute with Mr. Diggs is an important part of this case, and I'd say it is an important part of this case. But just in the same way that her financial relationship to Mr. Diggs is important, so is all the witnesses' financial relationship to Mr. Diggs. Now, at the conclusion of evidence, I'll have an opportunity to come back to you again. During that time, closing arguments, I'll ask you to come to a decision based on the evidence you heard. But right now, what I'm asking you is to not come to any decisions. Right now, your main job is to listen. It's to pay attention, to give every bit of evidence the attention and the scrutiny it deserves. And when I say every bit of evidence, I do mean every bit of evidence, because in cases like this, every bit of evidence is important. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so Stefon Diggs' trial, it has officially kickstarted. The prosecution was first to take the stand. Now, in case you guys have missed it, Stefon Diggs is currently facing felony strangulation and assault charges after his former private chef, Mila Adams, accused him of attacking her during a dispute over unpaid wages in December of 2025. Diggs has pleaded not guilty, and the case remains active with court proceedings starting today. Now, I have the clip that I'm gonna share with you guys of the prosecution delivering their arguments, but before we do so, I just want to get into the timeline of the events with you guys so as to jog your memory a bit, and then we're gonna get into the clip, which is almost 5 minutes. Now, back in July of 2025, Mila Adams was hired as a live-in private chef for Stefon Diggs during the NFL season. Stefon Diggs extended her contract because she was supposed to do, I believe it was either 3 or 6 months, but Mila, based on what we're told, is an excellent chef, and based on text messages, it seemed as though they had something deeper than cooking going on. Anywho, the contract was extended. However, Stefon Diggs violated the terms and conditions of the contract by sending Mila home early under the guise that he's gonna need that room that she's staying in, but she was never called back to work. Now, December 2nd, 2025, it is alleged that Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom, slapped her, and placed her in a chokehold until she struggled to breathe. She said he threw her onto the bed before leaving. Now, on December 9th, Mila Adams returned to Diggs' residence to collect her belongings after staying with a friend. On December 16th, Chef Mila filed an incident report to the Debham police alleging unpaid wages and coercion to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Police attempted to contact Diggs multiple times without any success. Now, late December, Diggs was charged with felony strangulation, suffocation, and assault, and battery. He denied the allegations, framing them as an employee-employer financial dispute. On February 13, 2026, an arraignment was held. Diggs appeared in the Boston court, pleaded not guilty, and his attorney stated confidence in exoneration. Now, on February 15th, Mila broke her silence, saying she never sought money or settlement and emphasized her trust in the legal system. And the case starts today, and Stefon Diggs has pled not guilty, and the prosecution is urging that if in case Diggs do have any witness, the juror should look at those witnesses just as though they're looking at the accuser, basically looking at everything under a microscope and not as being presented to them. Now, let's go take a look at that clip because the trial has started. The prosecution has taken the floor, and we're going to take a look at the clip together. After the end of that clip, it will be the end of the video. So be free to leave your comment, and we're going to talk some more in the comment section.
In the matter of the Commonwealth versus Stefon Diggs, docket 2554 CR 1862, are both parties ready for trial?
Good morning, ADA Drew Virtue for the Commonwealth. Commonwealth answers ready.
Andrew Kettlewell for Mr. Diggs. We're ready.
Okay. Sir, if you please stand and face the jurors. Sir, you are placed at bar for the trial, charged with one count of strangulation or suffocation, in that it is alleged that on December 2nd, 2025, you did strangle or suffocate, as defined in General Laws, Chapter 265, Section 15D-A, Mila Adams, in violation of General Laws, Chapter 265, Section 15D-B, and one count of assault and battery, and that it is alleged that on December 2nd, 2025, that you did assault and beat Mila Adams in violation of General Laws, Chapter 265, Section 13AA. And these good jurors whom I shall call are to pass between the Commonwealth and you upon your trial. If you should object to any of the jurors, you will do so after their names are called and before they are sworn. You have the right to challenge two of the jurors without giving any reason for doing so, and as many more of the jurors as you shall have good cause to challenge. You may be seated, sir. Will the jurors please stand and raise your right hands? Do each of you severally and solemnly swear or affirm that you will give true answers to all questions put to you by the court or at its direction, so help you God? Okay. You may be seated.